right, we're checking out the only game where busting your myths makes me bust my spinal column in GTA. We wanted to put a bunch of ridiculous suggested myths to the test, and so it's time for a brand new challenge. People ask me to do stuff that's either outright impossible or stupidly difficult in order to determine whether or not it's actually impossible, and so we're going to give it a shot. There's all these different physics that we're going to be elbow dropping in order to overrule the gods of science, but where do you start? By tossing a human being over a bunch of helicopters with a Hydra engine. I always say you guys have some of the most specific myths I've ever heard. This is one of them. It says you can't toss a human over 4 Savage helicopters utilizing a Hydra engine. Recently, we have begun using Hydra engines in order to complete various challenges, and now we're really going to find out the true distance that a human can fly. I can't really say I've ever tried to measure my distance of body flopping in Savage helicopters. Well, now's as good a time as any. Apparently I need to jump before I get to the edge of the challenge here. This is the most random place to see a regular guy driving around. Now it's time to appropriately yeetus the meatus. Let's go. Okay. Whoa! I love that you'll know if I don't get to the end because I'm going to get blended every single time. So this is an interesting quandary because I don't really know if the key here is trajectory or what. I mean, I can try and jump sooner to get more distance, but it's also possible that the person just measured 4 Savage helicopters and there's no way to get past them. It seems like right about at 3 to the beginning of 4 is the maximum distance. Now, before I say that this myth is even remotely true, I obviously have to try every single thing I can come up with to get through these. All right, seems like being at the peak of the jump when I enter the engine. This sounds terrible. Got me some more distance. So how about if I go from this direction? This is something that we've done in the past, was fall down into the engine. Well, that was worse. Who here wants a lifetime supply of blended gray? Okay, I'm gonna jump into it. Nope, same sad distance. Okay, this is definitely more difficult than I would have thought. Even if I just run into the engine, I get a little bit of distance, but I'm not even halfway there. I'm gonna try and peek the jump. Okay, if I peek the jump, I can get to the 4th helicopter, but not past it. I'm not giving up. I swear. If I can tilt it between the blades and the rotor, maybe I can squeeze through that tiny area. Okay, I have been trying everything. Do you want to see something ridiculous? If you do this while your phone is out, you fly 50% farther. That's like a myth inside of a myth. Why would that be true? You fly 50% farther off of the engine with your phone out. So just don't pay attention to anything in life and you'll go farther than you ever would have if you paid attention in school. Stay on your cell phones, kids. Myth is busted. The cargo bob cannot pick up the largest or the smallest cars. Now, I will say, if you've ever used this thing, you know that trying to pick up anything with this is just straight torture. It's flat out agony. I've never tried to pick up either of these particular cars with this thing, so I don't know if it is possible, but I guess we're about to find out. All right, so just trying to get this hook on a vehicle that's about 12 inches across. Oh God, it's 1,000 times worse than I ever could imagine. This is agony. It's not even a matter of getting the hook on there. I don't know if the hook hooks on this frame. I don't even know if it considers the Bandido to be something that is hookable, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I am dragging the hook straight through the car, and it knocks it around, but it doesn't grab it. So this is less of a problem of not being able to lift the weight and more of a problem of the hook can't grab the Bandido. I look like I'm trying to hatch an egg or something. Like the cargo bob is the mother hen. That's right, Bandido, you will grow up to be a beautiful goose. Get on the hook, you failure. You know when you play the claw game, you pay like $2 or something, you try and get a teddy bear? That's what this feels like. The claw goes up, but the claw feels like it's having a stroke halfway to getting to the mouth where it's supposed to drop the stuffed animal so you can finally win something instead of it just stealing your money. Right there, that Bandido just stole my $2, okay? The hook was right on it. Now, just to show you what's supposed to happen when you hook something with the cargo bob, here's a sad tractor, you line it up, the hook catches on, and boom, you can lift up the tractor. Okay, it's not supposed to be a big deal. Then you can use the tractor to to murder all of the innocent bystanders that are watching me torture myself for this challenge. All right, now how about the biggest vehicle in GTA? That's the other side of this coin. Maybe I can get one, but not the other. If I can get one, but not the other, I'll consider the myth to be half busted. But it doesn't look like the cargo bob catches onto this either. So it cannot lift the smallest or the biggest vehicles. It has nothing to do with the weight. It has to do with the cargo bob just not being able to attach to them. Epic gray landing. This is what I think your sandcastle. No weapon in the game can pop the Ruiner parachute. Someone truly hates me in order to try and test this myth. And the reason why is because you have to find a way to get outside of the car in order to pop the parachute. Now, as far as I know, there's really only one way for me to do this. So what you need to do is you need to line this up someplace, like up on top, and then pop the parachute. And I'm gonna have to line this up so I can get out of the car and land on that ground there so I have enough time to use all these different weapons. So here's what I mean. We're gonna go backwards, we're gonna pop, we're gonna parachute, and we're gonna bail. That's gonna get us plenty of distance. There we go, okay. So now I can get up. The Ruiner is completely unpiloted, just going forth to prosper. Now, your sniper rifles, look at it, you can see the bullet hitting the parachute. The parachute is completely unfazed. You can shoot the vehicle though, nothing. So how about if you use an even more powerful gun, like a rail gun? Well, that shows up really good. You can see the impact, the explosive impact on the parachute where the railgun's hitting. And you can see it's totally within distance. You can blow up the car to break the parachute, but the parachute itself is impervious. Minigun, nothing. That just cost me like $400 to use that weapon for 4 seconds. Now, as I set this up, I will say that I know, well, I'm 99.9% certain that there is a weapon that can pop this parachute. God. I can also just fail to get the parachute off. There's one weapon that can pop this parachute. It's the same weapon I would expect that you will use to totally miss. It's the same weapon that you would use to pop a parachute on a human. It is the seemingly harmless flare gun. The flare gun, for some reason, can pop a parachute. The guns don't work. Nothing else will work. But if I use a flare gun, hold on, I have to line this up. Don't mind me, this is a totally normal occurrence. You ready for this? And first shot! I told you. So there's one weapon in the game that can pop the Ruiner parachute, and it's the flare gun. So that myth is busted. You gotta try them all, man. A tow truck can tow an unlimited amount of tow trucks and not lose any speed. I've towed a lot of things, and I've tested that there's certain things that the tow truck cannot tow. I've never tried to tow an unlimited number of tow trucks with a tow truck. So how we're gonna test this is there's a little obstacle course. And are you kidding me right now? Hold on, I've got to clean up some waste real quick. Fly, US. Oh, you're gonna fly. So you need to go through the obstacle course, squeeze through the gigantic diabetes cans, and then you need to take this jump with all your top speed and you'll be able to make it over the plane. So how about if we hook it up to 2 tow trucks? Oh, this is just a human centipede of horror over here. We'll hook it up to the 4th tow truck. Anyone ever played that game? Like 1992, the Snake game on your TI 82 or whatever? That's basically what I'm doing right now in GTA. There's no input. It's really strange to say this, but driving this feels no different than driving the normal tow truck. Even with all the craziness going on behind me, I think we're gonna be able to do it. I think it's true. Yeah, you don't lose anything at all. All the tow trucks make it over the plane. So yeah, I guess a tow truck can tow a lot of tow trucks without losing any speed. There's no vehicle in the game that can do a 6-foot wide wall ride. First off, you need to understand how stupid a 6-foot wide wall ride is. That's 6 feet. Of course, we had to put this right in the middle of a bunch of wind turbines. So to give you some context, here's a T20 and here's a Bandido. Now, if you've ever tried to use a T20 on a 6-foot wide wall ride, which I have, the wheelbase is wider than the 6 feet. There's no way to do it. Like, I can't even chassis slide this all the way around that wall ride. Right now, the only thing I'm doing is giving my car a rash in a very inappropriate place. Can the Bandido do a 6-foot wide wall ride? Yes, I can tell you it can. The problem is the steering is so sensitive, it makes you want to shoot yourself in the face. If you've never tried to wall ride with a Bandido, you really need to subject yourself to this torture. So we've gotten to the point of not can this happen, more what does Gray have to do to make this happen. Realistically, there's no magic key here. It's a lot of muscle memory and practice. Whoever designed this thing never thought about the one idiot that would try and do a 6-foot, oh God, hold on, wall ride in it. Oh, okay. Yep, you know what? We're just gonna grind the top half. There we go. Yes, it is possible. There is one vehicle. It is the Bandido. If you pick up a car with a cargo bob and dip it in the water, it will still work. What's with the cargo bob challenges? All right, so first we're gonna get in, make sure that the car does indeed turn on. Okay, very good. I want to apologize to you ahead of time. I say that to the car because I don't think this is gonna work. The reason I say that is because the vehicles are still dynamic when they're getting pulled around by the cargo bob. They still take damage. Did you number this as 69, Alex? I don't even know if it's always LS69 or what. I never really sat there and looked. Now, as usual, the super exciting part of this is trying to line up the hook on, oh God, onto the vehicle perfectly. There we go. Grab the vehicle. And then we're gonna give it a small bath, okay? Right like this. The vehicle's like, no, Gray. I wanna make sure that it's in the water long enough to 100% drown the car. Okay, the car has been drowning long enough for me to be satisfied that if it's going to break, it's gonna break. So now I have to just not murder myself while I maneuver onto the roadway here. We're gonna perform the drop. Hopefully it's perfect. Boom, right there. Then a beautiful landing with the helicopter by jumping out randomly and allowing it to drown at the bottom of the ocean. The slow, painstaking process of getting some cardio. And now it is time for the moment of truth. I find it amazing that I didn't block off either of the lanes. I managed to land this thing directly in between both of the lanes. So this is weird. Not only does the car obviously not work, I can't get into it. It won't let me go into the car at all. Something I found that's even crazier, and I never really realized this, is after you get done drowning it and you drop it off, this thing is completely impervious. What I mean is, watch, you can shoot it with a rocket, it's fine. This is a myth within a myth. I've built you better, stronger, and faster, car. Now there's no way for you to die at all. I mean, you can't drive it, but it also can't explode. That's very cool. So the myth is busted, but another myth was found inside the myth. I give it 4 out of 5 chicken nuggets. The Deluxo can drag a tow truck if you switch it into the hover mode. So something really interesting about tow trucks is that generally, if you stick it to a vehicle and you attach it to the tow truck, almost nothing can tow this thing. At all. Like, the Drugger has some towing power, but what happens is it starts to tow things and then it just gives up partway. So you can see it's going, it's inching, and then eventually it just runs out of steam and it can't get anywhere. See, we were still going about an inch a second there. You can kind of start and stop going, and now it has completely stopped. There is no forward motion. Even an E-motor with all of its torque can't do anything. It's not moving the tow truck at all. It's basically like towing an overweight tree or something. If you think sticking more wheels on something would help it, it really doesn't. Friction means absolutely nothing in this game. 6 wheels. Spinning. Nothing. Doesn't even get it going. So now it's time for the moment of truth. Never tried this. Have no idea if it's gonna work or not. I've got to test it without the levitation first. All right, 1980s. Don't let me down. You had the Ninja Turtles. Come on. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Thundercats. All right, all of the cartoons of my childhood are indeed letting me down. So if we get this going into the hover mode. Oh, wow. Okay, this is legit. I had no idea. I don't know how this is working because, again, there's no grip. Like, we're not gripping on anything, so I don't know where all this torque is coming from. I'm not going to ask any questions. It can tow the tow truck. Not only can it tow the tow truck, it tows the tow truck way better than any other vehicle. Like, it's a constant tow. As we cross the finish line here, I can feel what it's like to not get kicked in the groin for one challenge. That is fantastic. So your myth is absolutely true. I've saved the worst for last. This is you can't do a spiral in a car while you're sick and tired. So sick makes the world spin. like this. I love that this car is the vodka mobile as well. Thanks to this is a perfect car to give me. And tired makes it so that your eyes shut all the time. And when it does that, the car just jerks randomly to either side of the screen. You have no control over the direction that it goes. Now, generally, you would be completely right. There would be no way to do this while you're sick and tired, because the problem is eventually the car just pulls one way or the other. Oh my God, hold on. I almost got really lucky there. The sick part and the tired part will pull the car over to one side or the other and make you fail this. So my original plan was to just do this 1,000 times and hope I eventually got it. But there is a way to cheat being tired. What you do is whenever the tired part hits, you have to take your foot off of the accelerator. And if you do that, the car won't jerk quite as much and you can kind of recover. Looking good. Almost killed that bird right there. Would not have been my fault. I would have charged his company for the insurance money. Okay, if I didn't get the tired part right at the end there, I think I would have made that. All right, coming into the loop. Why is that bird always there? Coming into the loop. Around. Okay, watch it. Let go. Land it. Just kind of drift down. Yep, you see it trying to pull us to the right there as we drifted down, but it's fine. Narcolepsy and food poisoning cannot, and I don't want to go off this now that I actually made it down here. Narcolepsy and food poisoning cannot keep us down, and that means that we have a winner. Well, we checked out your myths, and now I'm going to go vomit all over my keyboard. Anyway, folks, hope you enjoyed this episode of GTA. Until next time, stay foxy and much love.